Alrighty, folks. I'm trying to get the glare out from behind me. So this is my clock, RainBird ESP 6, I guess. I haven't seen too many of these actually in houses. At least the company that I used to work for, we used to always install Iritrols, which are good. RainBirds, when we used to do HOH strips in parks, I love the RainBird model. I didn't really mind the Iritrol version or the Hunter version that we would put in houses. So very simple. Okay, here's what we're going to do. I'm trying to look at it through my phone and not look at it through without it. So very simple. You're always going to want to place it right here on auto, and then you're just off doing your own thing. Okay, that's the biggest thing for you. So if we want to go day, month, year, right here, day. For me, it's Tuesday. Hour, you're going to just hit the plus, right? That's all you're going to do. Or sorry, the on, off, up and down. Same with the day, off, on, up, down. Minutes, off, on, up, down. Okay. Water budget, we're going to want it 100%. For those that get a little bit lazy, I'll show you what that does next. But that's very simple here. You can go up, you can go down. All that is every single zone that you set, you're just going to do 90% of that time, 80% of that time, 70% of that time, 100% of that time, 110% of that time. Okay, so I like to leave it at 100. It is what it is. We took over a new property back in the day when I was landscaping, and I had those zones up at like, hour and 20 minutes. It's like, what the heck's going on? Just got to check. It's just the water budget was not at 100%. It was at 50%. So even though we're watering for an hour on a zone that really only needed 35 minutes, it took that long because it was really only watering 30 minutes. So go ahead and check that. Simple down here. We want to make sure we're on custom, or you can do a fixed 2, 3, or 5 day cycle. Okay, I've never really messed with those too much, so I don't know how that's going to do, but it gives you no option here because it's just doing 3 days. I would assume it's going to do every other day when it does that for you. I do my custom, right? So we're going to come here, Monday's on, just turn it again. Tuesday's on, Wednesday's on. This is madness. I haven't touched my clock yet. This is just what it is. Thursday's on, Friday's on, Saturday's on, right? Very simple. I'm going to start with a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, every other day. Monday on. If you want to turn it off, like here, Tuesday, off. Wednesday on, Thursday off, Friday on, Saturday off, Sunday off. Okay, now I know my zones. You're gonna have to know your zones. I just made a video on common mistakes when setting our watering time. I know my zones. So 1, 2, and 3 are pop-up stationary. They do not rotate back and forth. They're just pop-up heads. So for now, I'm just going to put those at 7 minutes. Just hitting up. You want to take minutes away, you go down. 7 minutes. 7 minutes. Then for me in the backyard, these are rotating heads, which go side to side. And maybe I'll show you this afterwards real quick. I'm going to get those up to 18 minutes. So this one is along the house, and they're pretty much 90s and 180s. Zone 5 for me is a 360 zone. There's 2 heads that are rotating 360 degrees. So those take longer to water the area that they are watering. So I put those at 25. My zone 6 is MP rotors, which is a low flow nozzle for those who want to try and put more heads on one zone. If you have low pressure in your area, you're probably going to be going with the MP rotors. So I'm just putting that at 25 as well. So I'll take a quick look here. We've got that going in. Now we're going to set our time. Okay, and all this is on program A. As you can see right here, it says program A. If you hit program, you're usually going to have A, B, and C. So right now I have no watering time. So like I said, it's kind of just take a count of how many minutes you've got watering, right? So I've got 7, 14, 21. 21 plus 18 is what? 21, that'd be 41 minus 2, 39 minutes. 39 plus 50, that's going to give me 89, so roughly 90 minutes, an hour and a half an hour and 29 minutes. So for me, you're not going to ever want to water during midday unless that's plants only. If you've got drip system, water those during the day. Because it's most likely drip, it's directed right at the plant, and it's just dropping water right at the base of the plant. But for me, we're at about an hour and a half. So for me, I would like my house to water, if I water it at 4, it'll be done watering by 5:30. I'll probably even go earlier than that just because I got a dog, and if the dog's coming out, I don't want the dog, running around in water, coming running back in, getting the house dirty. So for me, actually, since I've got a dog, I'm going to do PM to give the grass some time to soak in and relax. So I would probably do about 10:30. And then once again, this just depends, depending on the noise. I turn the sprinklers on and there's quite a bit of noise in our house. So it's probably better to do it that time. So once again, 2 and 3, just make sure there's no times. Okay. So like I said, what you're going to do, if you have drip, this is where you're going to bring in another program. I got B. Oh, so this only has A and B. So I can only do 2 programs, right? So I'm going to have 10:30 here. If I had a 7th zone, which I don't now, I'd change that. I'd go to B, make sure every other zone is off because you don't want to be watering those types of things if you're just watering your plants. You start watering that, and all of a sudden all your grass is going to be watering at the same time your plants are. That's not what you want. So there we go. Get these down. See, and like I said, all those heads, different zones, different run times, they have everything at like 8 minutes. No wonder why when I got here, now that I've got everything up and running, this grass is really stressed. There's a lot of weeds. This grass is really struggling. That's because they are running a pop-up zone that needs 15 to 20 minutes dead summer with the same time as a rotor zone that needs probably 35 to 45 minutes in the summer. So what you would do is you'd come up here, you'd say 12 p.m., that would be noon. I'm not going to go that far. Do your one zone, boom, boom, boom. An hour. Usually if you have a drip system, you're going to have a 1 gallon an hour drip emitter. 1 gallon an hour, right? So you can put those on. That means every plant's going to get 1 gallon. So 1 gallon of water if you run it for an hour. You'd come here, do the same thing. For me, I'm just turning them all off because I don't want any issues with this zone at all. But once again, then you would do that, okay? So there you go. Basic, simple, how to program this RainBird clock. I lucked out, and this is actually a fairly new RainBird clock, even though this is really old. Then once again, I'm going to switch the program because it said B, A. It doesn't really matter. So there you go. Now we're set. It's on auto. For me, I'm still not running my sprinkler system, so I'm going to turn it to off. It's only the beginning of May, but I'll show you real quick what I meant by heads. If you don't understand what I'm talking about, a pop-up versus a rotor. So here, if you want to do an auto run, you're just going to put it to auto, hit manual advance. Now it's going to run for my cycle, which is 7 minutes. And then after that 7 minutes, it's going to switch to the next zone. It's just going to run a manual cycle. So this is what I mean. These heads right here, right? These are pop-ups. They don't rotate. They just spray at one angle. They're never rotating side to side. They spray at what they are. Okay? And I had this in the other video when I was discussing the sprinkler heads. This is what you don't ever want to do. These are the other heads I was talking about, right? When I got here, there were 2 heads on a zone with this rotor head. It's a rotating head. These heads run for double, sometimes 2.5 times longer than the heads in the front yard. If you're putting these heads on the same zone, you're screwing everything up. Okay? So there's these, and then I'll show you my other zone real quick that I put. Like I said, my middle zone, it has 2 heads that rotate in a full 360. And it's got a 180 head over there, and then it's got another 180 head behind the shed. These are the heads that are going to run a little bit longer because even though it has 2 heads that are only going at 180 degrees, these 2 heads in the middle are rotating at at 360 degrees, and since they're rotating at 360 degrees, they need longer time than your normal zone that I showed you before this along the house. Then the other head that I ended up putting for the same amount of time at that 25 minutes, not the 18, are these MP rotors. Okay, these are low flow nozzles, so they're putting out less water per minute than the head that you just saw right before this. The head you just saw before this is putting over a gallon, probably even closer to 2 gallons. Well, this head might only be putting out 0.8 gallons a minute. So with that being said, these need to run longer. You know, if that head, I don't know the specs off the top of my head, but if you look at RainBird's book, these types of heads, I've got 5,000s plus these older versions of a possible 5,000. I don't know what they're considered. It's an old version. Those putting out 1.75. This one might be putting out 0.75. So you're going to have to run it double the time just to come close to putting out the same amount of water. Okay? So once again, I hope this helps. I hope this gives you some insight. I am working on my yard, as you can see. I might discuss kind of what I did here to get my edging in and get my grade against the house away to detour the water from hitting the grass. But there you go, some of the basics, programming your clock and then showing you the 3 different types of heads. And then I'm going to do a quick video on, you saw the times I put in there, but what should you do if you are watering clay or a harder soil? I will make a video on that as well. All right, so thank you for tuning in. Don't forget there's also spirituality, fitness, health, nutrition, basic self-improvement videos on this channel. And I hope that you kind of surf it and see what other videos might help you on your journey.